Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to tap that bell icon to be notified every time a new video is released. Thanks!
Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli, and on today's House of Mouse headlines, I talk about animatronics losing their heads, an incredible summer at Walt Disney World, a Hocus Pocus sequel, and so much more. So let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Okay, on January 28th, some animatronics in the Disney parks had a bit of a problem, I'll tell you. It's kind of strange. At Disney California Adventure, Ursula, which is an amazing animatronic over at the Little Mermaid ride, lost her head in a freak. It wasn't even an accident. It just kind of like fell off at some point. Obviously, these things are machines. I get that, but it's not every day that a head falls off of an animatronic. And the weird, even creepier part of this is the fact that these heads are coming off and dangling there, and their facial movements are still moving and everything. So, it's a bit of a freaky situation. The even weirder part is that on the same day, January 28th, the auctioneer in Pirates of the Caribbean lost his head at Disneyland Paris. If these two incidences were closer together, I would definitely consider that maybe somebody was doing this, but it's very strange that, I've never heard of an animatronic's head falling off before. Them, not working entirely properly, that happens all the time. I get it, they're machines. But a head falling off is a very specific thing. For it to happen twice at two different places on the same day, very, very strange for me. But in any case, the animatronics are losing their heads. Fun story. Also in the news, Galaxy's Edge is apparently going to be having a restaurant show because some permits were filed for a, quote, food service show element. And apparently this is going to be part of a table service restaurant at Galaxy's Edge, which of course is opening in 2019 at Disneyland, as well as Disney's Hollywood Studios. Speaking of Star Wars, I wanted to mention that The Last Jedi was hated so much by a particular Star Wars fan in Georgia that he created a Change.org petition to take the film out of the official Star Wars canon. And this petition got tens of thousands of signatures, which is pretty crazy. I didn't realize people hated The Last Jedi that much. That seems a bit intense to me, and that's coming from a guy who gets very passionate about things. But apparently a lot of people felt that way. Tens of thousands of signatures is pretty intense. So intense, in fact, that the creator of this petition received death threats from fans of the film. So there were some Star Wars fans who were like, this is ridiculous, it's official canon for Star Wars. And then, there's the people that signed it that disagreed. He ended up taking the petition down because, quote, my concern is that the popularity of this petition could pull the focus of things that might be important. End quote. I find that very funny that he used the word might be important. I'm pretty sure almost everything else on Change.org is probably a little bit more important than this. But anyways, I think it's funny. Hey, I applaud his passion, but it's a weird story. Also in movie news, we have A Wrinkle in Time getting a sneak peek starting February 9th at Disney California Adventure at the Sunset Showcase Theater, which I still consider it the Muppet Vision 3D Theater, but it has been officially changed to the Sunset Showcase Theater, which is a home for previews, so I think it's cool that there's a home, at least, for that sort of stuff at Disney California Adventure. And over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, it's going to be part of Walt Disney Presents, of course. At DCA, they do have in-theater effects, since it used to be the Muppet Vision 3D Theater. Guys, now, I know it's been a trend lately for celebrities to come and make surprise appearances. It happened with Johnny Depp over in Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland, happened with Mark Hamill over at Star Tours. So for any cast members or anybody that might hear any rumors about perhaps an Oprah appearance at the Wrinkle in Time preview, please, contact me. You know how to get me, DisneyCoastToCoast.com, so that'd be appreciated. Over at Walt Disney World, minivans are now available to bring you to the airport. If you don't know about minivans, it's essentially Lyft or Uber, but officially through Disney. The vans are designed to look like Minnie Mouse with the polka dots and everything. And for a while now, they've been around, but they've only been taking you around the resort area. Now you can book it to take you from your hotel to Orlando International Airport. This is kind of in a test phase at the moment, so only club-level guests at Disney Yacht and Beach Club Resort, as well as Disney's Boardwalk Resort, are allowed to do it at this point. It does not take you from the airport to the resort, only resort to airport, and it's $150 per trip. This is pretty expensive in my opinion. I don't know why anybody would pay this, especially since Disney's Magical Express exists. I really hope that this doesn't affect Disney's Magical Express as far as like them getting rid of it or anything. I find the Magical Express to be quite handy and use it myself all the time. But if you want to pay a lot of money to get to the airport, I guess you can book a minivan. I'm not really sure what the benefit is other than like you don't have to be in a big bus with a lot of other people, and maybe you get to leave your hotel a little later since it's just your schedule. I'm not quite sure, but in any case, that's available if you want to check it out. As I mentioned, it is a test right now, but my guess is it'll eventually roll out. Another test that they're doing over at Walt Disney World is a cashless resort stay. And this is happening at the Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House. And this begins on February 12th. The only way to pay for stuff at this area will now be through Magic Bands, credit cards, debit cards, Disney gift cards, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, and all the stuff just like that. So there will be no cash interaction whatsoever other than for gratuities at that resort. If you want, you can deposit cash at the front desk, and I guess they'll put it on your Magic Band at that point. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to me. It seems to be that's the direction that like the country's going in. So I guess Disney's kind of just beating them to it. Makes sense to me. Some sadder news happening over at Walt Disney World. The Talking Mickey attraction, which has been there for several years now over on Main Street, right at the entrance. You could always meet Talking Mickey Mouse and interact with him, and, you know, it was articulated Mickey, and he'd talk back, and it was great to tell jokes, and hot dog, diggity dog, or whatever he was doing. It was a lot of fun. But there is a rumor that this will be ending in May. Now, apparently, they've been having some tech problems with this technology, as well as, I guess it confused guests, which I get. Listen, for continuity's sake, you know me when it comes to continuity of the characters, it is weird to meet Mickey Mouse and have him chatting with you, and then, like, see him in the park somewhere, and maybe his mouth doesn't even move, and then sometimes his mouth does move, but he's not talking to you. Like, there's a lot of, the story is not always the same when it comes to the characters these days, and so like for that sake I'm happy to see it go, but I'm really sad to see it go because I was hoping like eventually all of them would be talking Mickeys. We have it here, you can see it at Disney California Adventure as part of the Newsboys show, but we don't really have, they've tested character meet and greets with it, but it sounds like they're just gonna stop with this, and it's I don't know, it's sad. It seemed like it was heading in a really good direction, and now it's just going to be kind of like, oh, I remember when type of situation. So I guess if you were lucky enough to experience this in the last few years, I mean, like maybe a decade from now, people are going to be like, oh man, I never got to experience that. And so we'll be the lucky few. But I don't know. That one kind of bummed me out. As I mentioned, it is a rumor. Hopefully it's not true. If it does go away, maybe they'll keep working on it and bring it back eventually. But yeah, it's sad. But in any case, another rumor going over on at Disney's Hollywood Studios is the name change. Yes, a while ago at this point, Bob Iger accidentally confirmed at a shareholder meeting that the name of Disney's Hollywood Studios would be changing once again. Of course, originally it's Disney MGM Studios, then Disney's Hollywood Studios. And it seems, according to this rumor, that the name that it's most likely going to be changed to is Disney Cinemagine Park. So it's a mix of the word cinema and imagine. It's, it's not a great name, in my opinion. A while back, we talked about on the show how there was a survey that went out, and there were ideas like Kaleidoscope Park, and Disney XL Park, and Disney Storyverse Park, and I will say, of all of those terrible options, Cinemagine is probably one of the least terrible options. But for me, it's really sad because the word studios isn't in there, and I get it, like the park's moving away from that direction. But it is very sad, I think. And it also bothers me a little bit because of the fact that, now, I love how back in like Walt's day, when all these attractions were created, and in some cases it's still done today, but you never really saw the show buildings. And with Disney's Hollywood Studios, you very much do see the show buildings because they're sound stages, right? And sound stages make sense in a studio theme park. But with that whole studio portion going away, if that's the direction they end up going in, you know they're not going to do anything to those sound stages. There's still going to be sound stages that are show buildings, and to me it ruins the illusion. I like it when show buildings are hidden. Of course, more recently they've done a great job hiding them in Pandora, and I'm sure we won't be seeing show buildings at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge either. But I don't see Disney's Hollywood Studios changing that. But the name will change, and it's not going to be a studio anymore. I don't know. It's weird. Makes me sad. But I don't know. We'll see Disney's Cinemagine Park. We'll have to get used to that. The DCP. All right. Also, I gotta just give a shout out to my friend Ruben, who texted me with this information. God, a long time ago, when Happily Ever After came out, the new fireworks show over at the Magic Kingdom, I think Patrick and I were joking about Pandora, and how all of these fireworks shows and stuff have the sponsors, and you'll hear, presented by Honda. And we're like, oh, if Pandora Jewelry were to ever do it, it'd be presented by Pandora. So kind of like Pandora at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Apparently it happened. We predicted the future. Happily Ever After is now presented by Pandora Jewelry at the Magic Kingdom. This made me laugh a lot. Thank you, Ruben, for pointing it out to me. I have no idea how long ago this happened, if it's recent or not, but I thought that was quite funny. Also going on over at the Magic Kingdom, the Tron Lightcycle Power Run. Construction is beginning on February 6th for Tron Lightcycle Power Run, and apparently it's scheduled to open in August of 2021 if the construction goes smoothly. I find this date to be a little bit interesting, only because it's very abnormal for Disney to open an attraction, I feel, at the end of the summer. I feel like they want to use it to appeal to the summer crowds, so usually May or June something will open. To do it in August when the summer's ending, I find it strange. I mean, it may just be, hey, this is as fast as we can do it, or maybe it's strategic, I'm not sure. But in any case, Tron Lightcycle Power Run is becoming a reality at Magic Kingdom. Also, all over Walt Disney World this summer, they're having the Incredible Summer to promote Incredibles 2 coming out, of course. This is all starting May 25th. And at the Magic Kingdom, you will finally, for the first time, be able to meet Edna Mode, who is a very, very popular character in the Incredibles story. Of course, she's going to be a featured character in the Incredicoaster happening over at Disney California Adventure as well, but she'll be joining other characters from the film in a dance party over at the Magic Kingdom. As part of this incredible summer over at Epcot, Star-Lord and Gamora will be joining an alien band. And this, I believe, will be the first appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy characters in Epcot, which, of course, we got to get used to that, right? Because they have a new attraction opening there, so this is kind of like an ease into that. Over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, Adventurers Meet Up, a great bird adventure that will be opening soon, featuring Russell and Doug. We've talked about this a little bit in the past. The previous bird show that they had there, I think it was called Flights of Wonder, closed in order to do this. It's called Adventurers Meet Up, a great bird adventure. And something I hadn't heard anything about, no rumors about this, but I'm intrigued, I gotta tell you, a Dino-tastic celebration where Donald is taking over Dino-Land. I'm kind of all about that, not gonna lie. Like, dinosaurs is exciting for me, even though I don't care for Dino-Land all that much. I don't know. I'm really excited and curious to see what Donald's going to do with the space. That makes me laugh quite a bit. And of course, over at Disney's Hollywood Studios for part of the Incredible Summer, Toy Story Land will be opening this summer. So the countdown has begun, guys. May 25th, not too far from now. Now going overseas real quickly to Disneyland Paris, they're having a Tower of Terror special event on March 30th. It's going to be a 1930s Hollywood-themed costume party to celebrate the Tower of Terror's 10th anniversary at the Walt Disney Studios Park at the Disneyland Paris Resort. And now this is interesting. It's an exclusive party to Infinity Annual Pass holders. There is an additional charge, but apparently you have to be an Infinity Annual Pass holder to get into this event. I don't know. I can't recall a situation like that in the States where you have to have a certain level of annual pass in order to even pay to attend the event. I get it with like certain events are only for annual pass holders. That's like a free event, but something that has a charge to it, I'm not sure. I can't recall any. So that was kind of interesting to me. There will be special photo ops to celebrate the 10th anniversary, as well as a projection show. The Tower of Terror at numerous parks now have become a very normal projection surface now for the shows. Now in a bit of shocking news, Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel is the name of a book that will be coming out this summer. Now, You've heard me talk about Hocus Pocus a billion times on the show. I love Hocus Pocus. I've wanted a sequel. I've wanted a movie sequel with the original cast and director because they all want to do it. But it sounds like we have to be appeased with a book sequel. I'm going to be honest. I'm at the point right now where I kind of wish Disney would just not do anything with Hocus Pocus, because the stuff that they're giving us, other than the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, I think that that's a phenomenal theme park show. If they want to do that, like if they want to use the characters in the parks, I'm cool with that. But we previously announced the whole remake that they're doing for Disney Channel, which I think is a terrible idea personally. And now they're making a sequel book, which will be part of the official Hocus Pocus canon. The first part of the book is a retelling of the original film. All right. And part 2 is a sequel that continues the story of Danny, Max, and Allison, as well as some new characters in there. Max and Allison are married now with a 17-year-old daughter. I don't know if that's the direction we want to go in with these characters. Personally, I don't know. I'll definitely check out the book. I'm a huge Hocus Pocus fan. And this just isn't what I want. I want a great movie sequel with the original cast and the original director. I don't think we're going to get it, unless they're just hyping us all up for that. I don't know. But regardless, I think they'll make money off it. But the weirder thing about this to me is, once again, if you don't know Hocus Pocus, the original film, which is a Halloween movie, like undoubtedly Halloween, was released in the summer of 1993. Once again, this book, Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel, will be released on July 10th. July for a Halloween book. I can't figure this out. I don't know why they do this, but it's being done, folks. Moving on to some movie Marvel news, which I don't really talk about often on here because I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel films. But I got to tell you about a teaser poster that came out for Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is the coolest teaser poster I've ever seen. It's basically a white poster, and you see the title in large letters and everything, but like 3/4 of the poster is just white space, and then the tiny, tiny little characters of the Ant-Man and the Wasp. This cracked me up. This just made me think of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which of course made me happy, so I thought I'd mention it on here. It's a funny little teaser poster. I love teaser posters. I always think they're so much fun for anything. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the news this week. Let's jump to the conversation real quickly on this past Wednesday's episode of Disney Coast to Coast, where we took a look at the Full House episode that shot at Walt Disney World. As part of that episode, we were talking about how Michelle won a contest at the Magic Kingdom called Prince or Princess for the Day. So I asked you in the comments on YouTube, if you were Prince or Princess for the day, what is one Disney wish you would want? Lauren DeWitt left a message saying she wants to be Ariel in Voyage of the Little Mermaid. That's a pretty good wish, I gotta say. I love that show still, even though it's like totally outdated and I'm sure will be replaced soon. It's just like such a unique show to that park. It's nowhere else. So I kind of love that about it. I also think it's cool, even though it's a bit cheesy and outdated at this point. So Lauren would want to be Ariel in Voyage of the Little Mermaid. Pretty cool choice. Anissa Vargas wants to stand where Tinkerbell jumps off of Cinderella Castle for her to begin her flight for the fireworks. She does not want to jump. She does not want to zip line. But she wants to stand there and peek out that window all day and watch the guests and, you know, the view up there. It must be nice. You'd see a lot of Walt Disney World property from up there, so that's pretty cool. So, thanks to those two for leaving comments on YouTube. Thanks to all of you for leaving comments on YouTube. I just picked a couple of them real quick. But if you want to become part of the conversation, make sure you go to YouTube and leave comments there. And as far as the Twitter poll for this week, I gave you another question based on this past Wednesday's episode. Out of the following choices, which is your favorite sitcom episode shot at a Disney park? The choices I gave were The Middle, Modern Family, Full House, and Roseanne. The order it went is Roseanne got 11% of your votes, The Middle got 14% of your votes, Modern Family got 21%, and Full House got an overwhelming 54% of your votes in this week's Twitter poll. Apparently, we picked the right sitcom to start with for our Primetime at the Parks segment, so that's pretty cool. So, guys, thanks for joining the conversation and taking the Twitter poll. If you want to become part of that, every link you need is over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. You can find all of our social media there. I also want to remind you guys that each week in the e-note, we're doing a different music playlist every single month. So make sure you sign up for the e-note so that you can get that playlist. They're a lot of fun. I have fun making them. This month's theme is songs about passion from Disney because, of course, it's Valentine's Day month, right? So make sure you go to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, click on the playlist tab there to sign up for that. And other than that, guys, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast.
Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePaoli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.